Welcome to the Nerd Party.
I'm Darren Moser.
I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Daniel Prue.
And this is City Alpha 3. Welcome back to City Alpha 3, a Star Trek podcast here on the Nerd Party Network. I'm Darren Moser, joined by my fellow Strandees here on City Alpha, Philip and Daniel. It's summer here in City Alpha. It's arrived, and we're all bearing through not running our air conditionings during this recording for optimum recording quality, right?
Nope, mine's running right now, but it's in the other room, so you should be.
Mine's walking.
You better go get it.
Yep.
But any more rewatches going on? Any new episodes?
Hey, I want to say something.
Okay.
Since you constantly mock me for my aborted alphabetical rewatch.
You threw down the gauntlet, Daniel. We're just helping you remember that you're not worthy.
Well, I decided to pick that gauntlet back up last night.
Okay.
And you'll never guess what episode I left off on. It was, in fact, All Good Things.
Okay, right. Okay.
So I was.
You're walking backwards through TNG. Okay, interesting choice. Interesting choice.
So I'm like, okay, I've got some time, and I'm in the mood to watch some Star Trek. So I put it on, and my girlfriend's there with me. It's pretty late at night, it's like 10:30 or something. She starts getting into it. She's like, oh, what's going on?
I mean, it's a really good episode. So.
Yeah. So then she wanted to go to bed. So I didn't. I decided to wait for her when she's ready to watch it. But I did restart my alphabetical rewatch, even though it was just a little bit of progress. We got a couple scenes in, so. And
Aquael's next.
Oh God!
I feel like it's like you're typing in the password and you get a couple episodes in, but then you forget where you are, so you're just like backspace.
It was pretty funny because she was very confused by Troy and Worf, and she's like, "What is going on here?" And I'm like, "You can just don't worry about it. Nobody else likes it either. It's fine. You can just ignore it."
That's cool though. That's cool that she got interested into All Good Things. I mean, it's a great episode and worthy of binging.
I just literally 5 months ago, finished watching Black Mirror Bandersnatch. Is that what it's called?
Oh yeah, how was that?
Yeah,
Benedict Cumbersnatch. Yeah,
that's the one with all the endings, right? All the different endings and stuff.
Yeah, well, it's not. It's the choose your own adventure. You're throughout the whole thing, you're
right.
Press left or right. So it did get me thinking. Got me thinking about a lot of things, but got me thinking. Star Trek Choose Your Own Adventure. I mean, you have to choose a different thing because I think that's copyrighted.
Look, this is my episode this week, Philip. You can't just change the topic.
But wouldn't that be a cool book? A Star Trek, choose your
Turn to page 135 if you attack the Borg.
Exactly. I think that would be. I mean, that's a money grab I would definitely participate in.
And we'd have to have you, the person who is moving now. What do you say? Experience beige.
What they could do is they could just make one of the short treks sort of a choose your own thing. That way it's not so
cool.
burdensome, and it's quick and easy to kind of get into and do different things.
Although, unfortunately, the technology seems to be on Netflix, not CBS All Access. So, but we've actually done that as well.
Pick up your All Access controller that we all have.
Oh yeah. No, we've done something similar. They have the Minecraft story mode, which is very similar, and it's like you're watching a story, but then you can make certain choices, and it's really interesting. And I remember seeing that, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. It didn't click what it was yet until I actually started. I'm like, oh, you're literally, because again, this is like brand new technology, and I'm like, can we do that?
Just cracking
with Netflix? Code. Can you? I'm reaching into the machine here.
So how far did you get, Darren?
Oh, well, our kids have gone through it, the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
I think, at least. I think she's going through it a second time now with a male protagonist.
It's different. It's Patton Oswalt if it's a male. Yeah.
Yeah, and choosing different choices.
I'm only femme shep. Wait, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
But you're basically right there, Philip. You're not that far off, but I kind of don't like the pig. I don't know why the pig is in this show, but
leave Ruben alone, Darren.
It feels forced, but that's just me.
Oh, the pig. Ruben is great. We don't want to say anything else about Ruben. because spoilers. But let's move on.
Yes. Yes. All right. Well, today we are continuing on where we left off, and now the conclusion of talking about Star Trek ships, mainly the primary ships of each season. Not all ships, because, then those episodes tend to be two-parters, and that would be crazy.
That's a hashtag I always try to avoid.
Yeah.
Star Trek fandom.
So we had gotten
all
through the NX-01, Discovery 1701, and the 1701D Enterprises, and now we're halfway there, guys, getting from there to here. And we're going to be talking about Deep Space Nine. Deep Space Nine, we have at least 3 things to talk about. We have...
You know what, ironically, and I just learned this because of, Twitter, of course, because they were celebrating, blah, blah, but you know what the 100th episode of Deep Space Nine is? You probably know this. What's the 100th episode of Deep Space Nine is?
Is it the Tribbles one?
The ship.
Oh, the ship.
Well, there you go. That works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think 200 is usually the big anniversary one. But
200.
yeah, no. I don't know if they got to 200.
No, they never got to 200.
Yeah, I don't think any series got to 200. Because you need at least
Enterprise
like 10,
did-
you
oh,
need
no,
like
you're
10
right.
seasons.
Oh, womp, womp, womp.
I mean, together it's like 700 and something. So they're kind of like, we're going to go with quantity and just brute force our way there. But anyway, with Deep Space Nine, we have the station, we have those runabouts, guys, and we have that Defiant that showed up later, and who cares about that? But
Which one?
Yes, the Sao Paulo one. No, but first the station. Man,
Da-na-na.
I mean, one, now this is the other cool thing is this was kind of the first different intro, because like the Next Gen intro was basically the TOS intro of the ship flies by real fast while they're showing the credits.
You mean the Star Trek intro where you have the captain saying stuff at the beginning and you don't fall asleep to an instrumental version? Is that what you mean, Darren?
Yes, that's exactly what it was.
Okay, I
This
just wanna
though,
make sure.
we had now. I mean, I'm gonna jump ahead to the second intro where
Of course,
we had
the good one.
the comet, and it's a slow burn. It's like, okay, we're gonna bask in the glory of this multi-million-dollar model that we built, or whatever it costs. I'm sure it's very expensive, but and it's a beautiful station though. I remember seeing in behind the scenes sketches of kind of like the directions they were thinking, and I'm like, I'm kind of glad they went with what they did, because some of their ideas were ideas, and I'm glad they didn't quite make it. I'll leave it at that.
It's interesting to, once they made the decision, and I don't know if I've ever followed necessarily the behind the scenes thoughts, but once you said it was going to be Cardassian Station, and they sort of basically, you can only go off what you have. I mean, or you go off what you have. And so a lot of it is just the makeup with the curlies, ridges of the Cardassian.
I mean, you have the Cardassian neck, all around. You have a ton of that. Unfortunately, we did not get the Cardassian hats.
The headgear. No.
I mean that
they got their braces removed. So
but yeah, it's just an awesome looking station, and one thing I do wish is I wish we'd had a couple more sets. Granted, I know we got like a third of the promenade, which is a massive undertaking, but there's so many like cool places, and I mean we did make our way through the station. Like I think we eventually see like upper docking pylons and all sorts of crazy stuff, but it's just there would have been ore processing. Don't go to ore processing, guys. It doesn't work well.
But that's the whole purpose of the station.
No, I know, but I mean, like when they go down there,
yeah,
Jake and Cisco get trapped, and it's all bad. And
well, I like how the functionality is also there, because I mean, I don't know. You think of different outposts, whether it's I'm blanking on all their names. The one from the Tribbles episode,
like K7,
K7 is like B5. That can't be it.
Or like Regular One,
right? Or Space Dock. DS9 is actually
Space Dock's too cool for a name. It's just gonna go Space Dock, the OG.
Yeah, Space TARDIS.
001. Space
but,
mushroom.
Yeah, but it's bigger on the inside.
No,
but it's
don't
so
get me
functional.
started on space dock scale, guys. Don't
I want to
get me
talk about
started.
Because you have the pylons, so you can actually attach literally to the pylons. And then you have the docking ring itself, so you can attach to the docking. We never saw it. That would be funny to see Deep Space Nine full, like 3 on top, 3 on bottom. Would be like 6 on the side, or all around. That would have been, hilarious. But you can actually see where everything's supposed to go.
There's 12 on the docking ring.
Oh, okay.
Plus 6 on the pylons. So 12. You could have 18 ships docked. That's like a fleet. But no,
and
everybody's just got a circle.
Super DS9.
Everyone just circles around it, like sharks.
To be fair, it's kind of counterintuitive. The docking pylons should be facing outward. You would think, not inward.
That's true. They're going to be a little crowded.
We already designed this. Remember? I remember we redesigned the ship with the pylons facing outward, and it looked god awful.
Well, they talked a little bit. I don't know if you guys. I think it was from the documentary, and they said basically the idea was that in order to keep the shield bubble.
Yeah, that makes the most sense.
That's kind of why they have that design. Which, whatever, get some. It's a big station. Get some extra shield generators, and you'll be okay.
Though, would it be cool if the pylons moved? Like, there's a big ship coming.
Oh, they could do that.
Well, and that also makes sense that they would, keep. Yeah, I see what you're saying, but it also kind of makes sense that if ships are docked on the inside of the pylons, those are probably cargo ships, and those are really valuable, and you want to kind of keep them in the middle. That would have been an interesting shot, is to see an exterior shot of the station during the occupation, where it's just like bustling with like cargo ships and ore haulers and transports and all sorts of things.
Oh, Darren longing for those occupation days.
We have like 3 lights on the promenade. We use them sparingly. Odo looks really stern and gruff.
So before you even mentioned it, Darren, I was thinking, what is the scale? Because it's big, obviously. Deep Space Nine is big, and bigger than any of the ships that we talk about. But my mind always goes to Space Dock, and like how.
Oh, Space Docks is way bigger than Deep Space Nine.
So I did. I looked it up, and you could fit. I'm pretty sure you could actually fit Deep Space Nine inside.
I mean, you have to take it apart into like 5 pieces to fit it through the doors.
You wouldn't fit it through the
you can do in my Playmates model. Yeah.
You could probably fit multiple Deep Space Nines inside of that cavernous room. If they do another space station, I want them to do it on one of those star bases that's Space Dock big, and that'd be amazing. Because
now, TOS Space Dock big or
no,
Space Dock?
TNG.
But anyways, yeah, Deep Space Nine is good. It's a good design, and we get to spend an entire series on a non-human a design, which is cool. That's something that they did. They didn't that was like part of the fabric of Deep Space Nine, literally.
Well, and I like after they gave it kind of that upgrade, and you have the awesome kind of like cylinder torpedo launcher that comes out, and the phaser strips, and it's like, it's a really, I mean, honestly, like in D&D terms, I wouldn't want to go up against the station. Like, yeah, it's not a military station, but it's still really well armed, and it's a huge area.
Right. And then those ones.
Now, granted, they have like 16 boarding, holes like for you to get on, but
one thing that I was thought was kind of a little bit of a missed opportunity, though, was to see like more of like the federization of Deep Space Nine over time. Like they never replaced the transporters.
Starbucks would get in there,
Why didn't they never replaced
because
any
it
of the
worked.
control panels?
Because everything worked, and you don't want to put Federation technology. No, well,
it certainly didn't work at first, and then it tried to kill them. And
okay, great. Okay, that was a bad day, but no, I mean overall though, the station worked relatively well versus like a lot of the issues that like the Enterprise or Voyager had.
I mean, those holosuites rarely messed up. I'll grant you that.
No, the only time they messed up is when they shoved the consciousness of the command crew into the computer, thinking that's gonna work. But now, okay, I know you guys were waiting. Number one ship right here, Rio Grande to the rescue.
No,
Although this
I
was
mean-
technically the. Not
Yeah, no,
Rio
because
Grande.
it's not the Rio Grande. Rio Grande doesn't have the torpedo thing. I mean, in theory, I mean the Rio Grande is sorry, the Rio Grande, the runabout. Sorry, the runabout is an interesting idea. It's bigger than a shuttle, but it's less than a starship. Sort of that weird middle ground. But it's cool because you can adapt one. They don't all look alike because
Right.
it's supposed to be
They're
special.
modular.
Right. But just to make it the quote unquote main ship that's what I don't know. It's just a cool shuttle. I mean, that's not to be confused with the Define, I guess. But
I like how they loaned it out to TNG. Like, you can borrow our shuttle for your episode with Troy and Data and Picard.
But yeah, I mean, I think a runabout is cool. I mean, if I was gonna travel light, I would rather have a runabout than one of those shuttles that seem to crash most of the time.
The rinky-dink,
Yeah.
terrible shuttles. Yeah.
True. Yeah, it's like Captain's Yacht comfort, but at a fraction of the non-price.
And it's sort of a different color scheme. I mean, all the other Starfleet shuttles we've seen up to now were sort of the white blocks, rectangle, square concept. I mean, throw a couple curves in there, but that's basically what it is. Whereas the runabout, it's this whole gray modular, stretched it out a bit, had the draping,
And the cockpit was
nacelles.
really cool. You had literally, side by
see in it.
side. You had a whole bunch of, different stations, and you had the little tactical back transport station, and it was really cool how they laid it out. But yeah, no, there was time for them to move past that and get to the Defiant.
Well, no. I mean,
No.
you have to remember, without the runabout, we couldn't have the tiny ship episode.
That's true, where you take one ship and put it inside the other ship.
Yeah. I mean,
What?
dog, I see you like ships. How about you like ship inside a ship?
What is the name of that episode?
It was like tiny ship, little ship, this little ship,
Like one little ship.
something like that.
Yeah. I'm a ship, you're a ship, we are ships all.
A little ship took a trip.
The best
One
part about
little
that
ship, it's called.
is the giant isolinear chips that are like 2 stories tall.
Now, any sort of Ant-Man imagery is great. Like when they,
Honey,
when
I
they
Shrunk.
Now I
the
want to
DS9.
make a trailer of one little ship with music from Ant-Man. Oh, now we got to do it. Or Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I'm on the fence.
Yeah.
See, but I'm thinking if you had to cast who would be the Ant-Man of the Star Trek universe, I'm already thinking Barclay.
I see. I'd go with O'Brien.
Oh
He's not-
man, I don't know. I wouldn't pick either of those people. I don't know who I'd pick though. It's somebody that's got to be goofy, but also
Yeah.
still confident. I wouldn't pick Barkley.
Bashir,
Uh,
late season Bashir.
maybe.
Yes, I just want to see Bashir working at the Baskin Robbins.
I could see Bashir working at the Baskin
I have
Robbins.
I have a Starfleet medical degree. I should have no problems finding a job.
Yeah, but when you're stuck back in time, Doc, you got to earn money. So guess what? Scoopy scoop. Baskin Robbins always finds out. You're from the future, aren't you? You think we wouldn't find out, Bashir? Yeah, no, I think. I mean, what did you guys think of the Define? I mean, it's a very different. We're moving away from the saucer design. Wasn't that what you guys wanted? Is it what you wanted?
No, I just want that for the prequels.
I do like that they did something different. I don't love the design in general. I don't really know why I don't like it, but I don't love it. I do like that they took a little bit of a risk and they went with something fresh and new. It's just I think it's a combination of the nacelle design and completely removing the saucer, I think, which I don't know, man. I don't know. I'd have to sit down and really think about it. It's not my favorite ship for sure.
I think there's it. It being a attack vessel, which of course we don't necessarily have never seen before. I mean, all of our Starfleet vessels, have weapons or defense, as we say. But this is a combat vessel, 100% pure combat vessel, and so the armament is kind of cool. Like, there's not phasers. There's wait, I forget
Like
what's
phase
called.
cannons or
Phase
something.
cannons. Sorry, I couldn't remember for a second. Phase cannons and quantum torpedoes. So it looks cool. Like, you watch First Contact. It's zipping around like a little fly, shooting with a Borg. That's cool looking. Its use in DS9 sometimes, goes over what you think could actually happen. It's like, yes, the Defiant will take on the entire Dominion fleet. And I was like, could it though? Could it though? Like, Voyager classes are being blown up, Galaxy classes are balls of fire, and then little Defiant's like, we're fine, guys. We're good.
Like the Mirror episode where they build their own Defiant and they take out like Worf's command cruiser. And it's like, you really? Like, you're literally like, you could shuttle this inside that command cruiser. It's so big.
Right. But I mean, it had cool, the cloaking device, of course, is the cool concept. The weapons, like I said. I mean, and then, I don't know, just the outside, I guess, but the inside, I mean, the bridge is sort of just classic bridge, in as much as just, there's a chair in the middle and everyone's around you. But I mean, there's not much to it. I mean, that's neither
I like how they're along the wall with their stations. Like, it's a nice bridge design.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing really. I mean, it's nothing forward or against it. It's just a bridge with people around, and you got a helm up front. I mean, okay.
I like the raised positioning of the captain's chair.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy that. It also, the rear of it really reminds me of the NX-01.
Yeah, because isn't there an ops table back there?
Yeah, there's like a table back there.
That they I think they use like once.
Yeah.
Maybe, and the engineering's kind of cool with the warp core kind of half sunk into the deck, because it's like you don't really necessarily need it at accessible height.
I like the idea of a small, like a much smaller ship than we're used to, like non-capital ship, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah.
Right.
But
like you said, like a fighter class
escort vessel.
Yeah, exactly, and it makes sense to see that. It's just I don't know. The way that it's kind of presented seems silly and almost fanboyish to me, but.
Well, I thought it was interesting because we had to watch it. We had to watch it recently for our episode about the Jem'Hadar with the search, and I think it's interesting that they introduced this capable ship, cloak, weapons, blah blah, and then he gets his butt kicked in the first episode by the Jem'Hadar.
So we got to show how good the Jem'Hadar are.
So it was an interesting contrast, and like, this is going to be our cool vessel now. Oh, except, well, okay, well, it'll be cool in the future, we promise.
Yeah, it's like when the Jem'Hadar really start attacking, and like we cannot hit them worth anything, and their shields are just. And then it's like, well, we got to tone them down a little, or we're just dead.
Yeah, don't worry. In the later seasons, the Defiant can take on the entire fleet. So
yeah,
yeah. Two things. One is it was always confusing the size of the Defiant.
Small.
Well, maybe not. I mean, we knew the overall size compared to like the station, but I'm pretty sure there were like two different blueprints or two different cross sections floating around. One had like 4 decks, and the other had like 8 decks. And I'm like, I can't tell which is which.
Well, it could fit between the Excelsior class nacelles in that one episode. Paradise Lost.
True, but that just does. I guess it always was tricky on how many decks it had.
Hmm.
But that now that I'm thinking of it, like looking at some pictures of it, it almost looks like the top of the Enterprise D battle section with nacelles bolted on the side.
A little bit.
And a little, warhead stuck in front, But
that
would be even cooler. The saucer separates, and then these little warp nacelles pop out, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's another ship within the ship.
Yes,
but you have to separate the whole, like, split the. And then once you're separated, if you destroy the Defiant, then you can't redock the. It's the interlock piece of the. It's the linchpin holding the Enterprise D together.
Now, it's hard to believe that, whatever in that last, or not the last, but the penultimate or the third to last episode when the Defiant was destroyed, because I'm pretty sure they showed it, with the escape pods and everyone. But I'm like, the escape pod size to Defiant ratios, like there could only be like 4 escape pods possibly, as far as big as they are with those little spaces, gets taken up. So it's like, it would, we're kidding, but it would have been, if you can make it look cool, where you do evacuate in that little front thing and it just sort of.
Yeah, I was going to say, have the warhead come off. That was what it was supposed to do. Well, and then other people were like, is the bridge in the warhead, or is it in the traditional top middle of
I just assumed top, but I never thought about it.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Daniel?
I was going to comment on the size. Because when I was a kid, Darren, there was a kind of piece it together plastic model of the Defiant. And I had that, and I had I think it was a Micro Machines? No, I can't remember. But it was a Millennium Falcon that you could open up, and it had a bunch of stuff inside. They were roughly the same size, so I'd say it's roughly the same size as the Millennium Falcon.
Okay,
based on
canon fact right there.
Actually, you know what I was also thinking about was Captain's Chair. Did you guys play Captain's Chair at all? Do you know? Are you aware?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like it's
like 9 CD-ROMs to load it or something like that.
It was an old PC, and I struggle to say game because you don't do anything. But
is shift involved, Daniel? Is shift involved?
It was an old PC thing where you could literally just stand on the bridges of all the ships. And,
yeah.
It was interactive. You could look around. It's all first person. They must have had somebody with a camera just taking a bunch of pictures. And then you could.
But it wasn't like you literally moved. It was more like what's it called? Like Google Street View, where you snap to the loaded points.
Yep. And then you could even pull up.
It's 90s, guys. You can't literally VR walk around the bridge, but you can snap to where they took the pictures.
It was the closest thing, yeah. And you could you could click on the consoles and the buttons would play sound effects and sort of stuff like
and you could activate self-destruct, and if you didn't stop it, the game closed and put you back to the start menu or something.
Yeah. So I spent a lot of time on the bridge of the Defiant back in the day, but
okay.
I think it was main engineering, all the main places I think you could go.
Yeah.
But I don't think you could go to ops.
I think they probably called it a virtual tour. No, I don't think you could go to ops. I think you could go. It was the D bridge.
It was the Star Trek virtual bridge or something.
Yeah,
like that.
It was the D bridge. It was the Defiant. I'm pretty sure the Voyager was on there, and I feel like I'm missing something, but I'm definitely those 3. So.
Now I have a question, Danny. When you're on the Defiant bridge, you have tactical. Helm, of course, up front. So at the counseling station, where Esri would sit, what are the controls there? I was wondering.
Console.
Right.
I feel anger. I think was one of them. No, I don't know.
I feel anger. Joy and gratitude buttons alternating next to each other. All right. Well, I think we're good with the Defiant. It served its purpose, and I think it was used well. I never felt like they overused the Defiant or overused the cloak.
Yeah, that was an interesting comment. I can't remember who made it in the documentary, or the DS9 documentary, about they're bringing the Defiant, or they're bringing the starship in. They're going to change everything, and I was like,
right.
They didn't.
Not really.
Of course, I wasn't a cast. It's different when you're on the inside, but they're changing everything. They want to make us a starship show again, or something, and that's not who. I'm like. They really didn't go a lot of places, really. So went to Earth, a couple trips to the Gamma Quadrant, and that was about it.
Yeah, no, it made sense for maybe. What they did. It'd be interesting to see the design process, because obviously probably one of the first design constraints was that it had to dock into the docking ring. Mm-hmm. And so you kind of get the warhead nose that lets it do that.
Here's a dumb question. Could the Defiant land? Because it's small.
You would think so.
I actually believe in the technical, the Master Systems display. There are 2 landing feet. I'm pretty sure.
Blue alert.
Black alert. Blue alert.
No, that's different.
Green alert.
I don't know what would spin on the Defiant if it goes through a black alert.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it could land.
I can see the nacelles just open up and they're just sort of landing pads that just sort of.
Yeah, that would make the most sense.
Yeah, it's like they must extend a bit down, but I think there's like 1-4, but yeah, it does have landing feet, although they never land it. But
Also, I think it's, I mean, to me, and I can get the argument, but to me, it seems ridiculous that the Defiant has a shuttle. I mean, like, okay.
it has
if you
2
really-
shuttles.
If you really need to leave, there's an escape pod. I mean, let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah, like this schematic I have here shows 4 decks in the Defiant. You have like the bridge and a couple things on deck 1. Deck 2 is the biggest deck. It's definitely small.
Is that where all the power's kept?
Yeah, deck 2 has main engineering.
I
And
definitely will not
then-
miss this opportunity to once again say how terrible destruction of the Defiant was handled when they get a new one in the next episode.
And you're minutes from the end of the series,
And they
it's like-
rename another ship. Too bad for all those people that were working on it and were planning on going on their ship. We're taking your ship because our ship got blown up. Anyways, I hate that.
It's not even the A either. I mean, right? It's just an XO1
Nope.
Yep.
Defiant.
Yep.
It's like,
because they didn't want to they wanted to be able to reuse shots.
So literally nothing happened. Nothing changed. It mattered 0 that the ship blew up.
right.
I mean, it would have been cooler if it had blown up and stayed blown up.
Yes, it would have been much better.
But all right. Well, speaking of blowing up ships, let's talk about the USS Voyager.
It didn't
Presumed
blow up.
lost. No. Well, a couple episodes. Time was up. Yeah, so this is also interesting because this is the first Star Trek ship that eventually made the transition from physical model constraints to digital. And this was it's just a really, well, obviously you have the pivoting nacelles. And
Well, hang on.
you
Let's
had,
not just move on from that because
That's Daniel has a good.
there's
hot
never
five
been a
on,
reason given for why the nacelles have to pivot. It's
the reason that I had heard
not an
was,
on-screen. If you're saying that,
Yes.
I mean,
was
Yeah.
based on
the
like the warp drive Hertz subspace, that
yes.
it was better at cruising speeds when it was down, and it was better at warp speeds.
It was a
when
hybrid,
up.
is what we're trying to say, Daniel.
remember, you always want to eliminate mechanical systems where possible because they have the tendency to break down. And if they're going to break down on your starship and you can't go to warp because your ship is broken, only one will go up and the other one's stuck, it's a big problem. So I think they needed to justify it, is all I'm
And you
trying
have
to
those
say.
older helms officers that'll just leave that one nacelle just flipping up and down the whole time. And
Yeah, that would have been a hilarious episode. Like they can't get the second nacelle engaged, and
They're
it's
like-
just one is up.
Can I just bang it down with a hammer or something? I don't know.
I'll jump on it.
Well, that would have been interesting. Is
It was just going around in circles doing donuts on the.
Well, you're
sector.
talking about how
Warp
it's a
circles.
hybrid, or it's just it's like when you have a remote control car and you haven't calibrated the front wheels, so it's kind of drifting left. Mr. Paris, compensate.
That's why they were lost for so long.
Wait a minute, we're just going around in a circle. The Federation's right over there. Ah,
Well, and
jeebus.
then
That's why we
it
got
would have
stuck
been-
in Borg space the whole time.
They were just in the Badlands. They never realized they couldn't
Well, you
get
said hybrid. Now I'm picturing like it's got those allowed in the carpool lane stickers on the back bumper and the side and the front.
Mm-hmm.
I guess maybe you don't have those in non-California, but
Yeah, no.
okay. If you have a like EV, like electronic vehicle, you can petition to have a sticker that lets you go in the carpool lanes. You have
We don't
carpool
have
lanes out there?
We
I don't
have
even
carpool
know.
Lines. Yeah, we don't
Oh
have
my
carpool
gosh.
We have carpool lanes. That's okay. You're not the only one.
But yeah, no, it was interesting, especially because it had to mechanically do it on the model. I mean, they had to fit all those, gears and things
lines.
into that.
I know on my Playmate, big, or whatever, Voyager, you can press where the buttons where this torpedo sounds. There's one for the nacelles like, and it's like, okay, enough of that.
Like that's enough. Yeah, no, it was interesting. I mean, yeah, interesting design there. The biggest shuttle bay to build 8 shuttles ever. And
Now-
I don't know if the Voyager, if it could separate its saucer.
I don't
it
think I never thought it did, but I don't know. I never thought about it, I suppose.
I mean, it looks like
It's so small, or not defined small, but it's so small. I guess they thought, why bother?
yeah. I mean, I'm seeing on this like schematic of just the saucer, and it says hull separation impulse engine, hull separation plane, but it kind of has like this little backpack on it, like that kind of spine that doesn't go with it. So I mean, I could see them not.
Well, we never saw the
landing it.
danged,
When you
whatever it
can
was
land the
called.
whole ship, why land just the saucer?
I mean, it wasn't even called the captain ship, but whatever. The shuttle on the bottom of the saucer that we never saw.
Yes, the arrow flyer.
Yeah, that would have been cool to see. But anyway, as far as outside, we talked about this with some of the other ships. This one, and I don't necessarily have any complaints about what angle you use with the Voyager, but I will say this. It looks totally different depending on the angle. Because, I mean, like, a lot of the times it was shot, when the episode first started, where it looked like that, had the saucer, the full of marshmallows or whatever, like, that's a heavy saucer, everything's in there. But then, like, when you do it from the top, it looks like a small saucer. And then, like, when you did it from, like, the back, it looks totally, and that's not a complaint, but, like, it looks totally different ship, however you look at it. Sometimes the deflector looks a little bit bigger, or the saucer if you do it from downwards, or, from behind. And so it just looks like a different ship every time you look at it from a different angle to me.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things we didn't see. That I supposedly had a battle bridge, which would have been helpful in certain situations. And, just having, I think it had like 2 warp cores. In the schematics, there's 2 warp cores. There's the main warp core, which is more in the back, and then this says E warp core, which I'm assuming is the emergency warp core.
They did not have a second warp core in that one episode where they ejected the warp core.
No, I'm pretty sure they ignored that. But...
Well, like, you're talking about the if the saucer separates, it has that. Is that a deflector on the top, or you're on the top lip?
No, that's a. Oh gosh, maybe.
A secondary.
I was thinking of the sensor palette. That is a secondary navigational deflector emitter.
Oh, so to get it home, is that what it needed?
Yes. So yeah, we never saw the arrow flyer. We never saw the second warp core, which I'm pretty sure is not connected. I think it's literally like a spare that you would like take out and have to move over to the main place to put it.
And I think
which is not a bad idea, but they just never did that.
And they never. I mean, they sort of. A little bit, but never really got into it, and I don't know how you would, maybe. But anyway, the concept of the Intrepid class ship, we only ever saw Voyager, to my recollection.
It's a science vessel.
Right. Well, and it's also, like, maybe you saw some in DS9 or something. But anyway, it seemed to be implied, and I don't know, maybe I just read it somewhere, that this was sort of like a special mission vessel, for lack of a better word. So, like, you would adapt it to whatever you needed to be done, you go do your thing, you come back, crew unloads, you wait till you have to use it again for something. It wasn't like Deep Space Mission. It wasn't like your standard starship. It was sort of this specialized vessel that obviously was smaller, but sort of like depending on your task, you would do it like that. And so sort of like a special task force, quick reaction force vessel, to have.
Yeah, it's like that's true. The fact that we didn't see more Intrepids out there, you would think we would. Especially in a lot of the big fleet shots. Maybe everyone was worried it would be confused with Voyager. But we see Galaxy classes all the time.
Right. Maybe that was after they destroyed the Enterprise D, so you knew it wasn't that one.
Yeah. And the Odyssey.
So.
But
yeah, I mean, I thought it was again, it's kind of our first, not until the E, really. Our first going away from a oval circle. Yeah. I mean, I don't even know what do we. I'm sure I'm just being dumb. I don't even know.
It's kind of like a spoon.
Well, it's basically because it's still ovular. It's just front to back instead of side to side.
Right.
So it's
I mean, the pro is it. They finally. I mean, they do get it to a point where it looks balanced, like from the side, from the top. Like it has good lines.
Right. I mean, I feel like it does tip over when it lands without a front. But anyway, but yes, no, I agree. I mean, I like it as a ship. The way it looks, I have no complaints because again, though, I think the hard thing with Voyager is the scale that we've talked about because it is a smaller vessel. But then the only thing we ever saw it compared to,
it's like 15 decks versus the D's 42.
but we never saw it necessarily compared to anything that we knew of. So like, oh, it's because the Kazon ships look huge, but
those Kazon ships were crazy big.
But then even other ships, I mean, like the Borg, you can't really compare it to the Borg because the Borg are huge, and so we never really got a sort of.
That's how you measure a Borg cube. You take your Voyagers and you lay it along one face, and you count how many it takes to get to the other side. And
exactly, that's my favorite joke. So, but like the only thing we ever saw was like the oh lordy, Equinox, but that was smaller than Voyager.
That was even smaller than
Yeah,
Voyager.
so we're almost getting Defiant size at that point. So
I wonder what I'd like to see a side by side with the Defiant versus the Equinox, but the one thing I'd like though is sort of the switch to a more modern aesthetic internally. When they switch from the beige to like more of a pretty neutral gray. Like the bridge is a cool design. I really like the bridge, except it's kind of the dopey commander's chair, like the two
seats in the middle.
It totally feels imbalanced, and
it predates the Orville.
Yeah, that's right. But I like the overall design of the bridge. Really, I think it's a really well done bridge. So,
I do too. It was interesting how they, with the Voyager design, got stuck in all of Star Trek from then on, where you just had your helmsmen on by themselves, which would have been fine if not every single thing afterwards was a prequel. So the NXL-1 has that same Voyager design, except it should look closer to the TOS than to the last step, last series of the 24th century.
Maybe it was like a blip in Starship design, like just like a 50, 75 year trend where they're like, you know what, this guy doesn't need his own console. Let's put him with somebody else.
He's lonely, I also don't know why we don't have a navigator in Discovery, but that's neither here nor there.
With the Equinox and how small it is, it almost makes me wonder, like, it almost feels like there should be a minimum size of a starship. like if you get so small,
you're a runabout.
Like, is it even worth building this? You know what I mean?
I always thought the interesting thing was, we've kind of skipped this, but it doesn't matter, but just as from curiosity's sake, how the runabout gets an NCC designation. Like, if you're considered either a shuttle or starship, and Darren, you know the difference there. A runabout is technically a starship, right? Because it's an NCC, has its own name, versus like Shuttle 4, where it has the mothership name on it. 1701D, Galileo or whatever. So, yeah, I don't know. But I do like, because, again, we never necessarily got a whole sense of the fleet, because, the Dominion War ruined us, because they're all, the big boom vessels. But, like, who are the workhorses? Is it really a million Reliance and Excelsiors out there? Or is it these more smaller ships, giant ships,
was
Nova
the
class?
Equinox a Nova class?
I want to say Nova
so.
class. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Okay, so I have a side-by-side of the Voyager, Equinox, and Defiant. And the Defiant is about a little, like, if you're not counting, like, if you're counting nacelle on the Nova, the Nova is twice as long as the Defiant.
Right.
Okay.
So, whereas whereas Voyager is like 3 times as long as the Defiant.
Okay.
So, the Nova is like 2/3 as big as Voyager.
Well, how many people were on Voyager?
Oh lordy,
100 and something.
Yeah,
I would say.
So it's technically a smaller.
They didn't count them like torpedoes, so I have no idea.
It's a smaller ship,
Right.
and it's smaller in complement than the original
Yeah,
Enterprise.
it's got fewer decks. Oh, it's way smaller.
Oh, then
yeah.
the Constitution class. Yeah.
The Constitution class, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
tiny. I mean,
It may be comparable size to, because the Constitution's probably.
I know
gonna
they
be
packed them
taller.
in on these old
Yeah,
ships.
like sardines. Yeah. Because I would imagine if the Constitution's taller, if that's because it has that
Yeah,
whatever. No, I'm sure. As
Well, that's
far
the thing
as,
with the Nova is it's very similar to the Intrepid design, where the saucer and the main body are very like fused.
this little block here.
It's just smaller. It's just kind of rounded down. It's like they made a wooden Intrepid and then just took it to the belt sander until there was this little ship left, and I mean that's basically what it feels like.
Well, because like Voyager looks like its own design. I can't think necessarily of another ship that looks like Voyager, whereas the Equinox looks like, for lack of a better word, First Contact universe. The E and all those other ships. So it's basically like the Voyager turned into a First Contact ship.
Yeah, the Novas always looked like a small. What were those called? There was the Steam Runner and the Akira. It looks like a small Akira, just with differently swept wings. And then the Prometheus on the inverse is like slightly bigger than Voyager, but it's like they took they like stretched it out and made it sharper angles than Voyager was.
So,
but
I like Voyager.
I mean, I remember when all these new ones showed up, like right around Voyager time and First Contact and all of that. But yeah, no, it's just that's one of the cool things though. It's just all these interesting ships.
I mean, the ready rooms just get bigger and bigger.
Oh man, Voyager's ready room is like a suite.
Yep, and you get your own captain's mess too on the Triffid classes. So
well, I mean, unless someone takes it over.
Which I like how classist that is because it's like right next to the regular mess hall. So it's sort of like you can hear like quiet guy. You're hitting the.
Maybe she
guys,
wanted to do
quiet.
meals with the captain like Archer did, but
right.
Yeah. He's like, hey, keep it down, guys. I know you're sad and you're rationing your food, but
Mama's got to eat.
You're disturbing my coffee in the captain's mess. All right. Well, let's round out the end of the episode talking about another Enterprise.
Bestis Enterprise?
No, it's okay. I guess we could start with the negatives on Enterprise E. I was always surprised how it was smaller than the D. Like, I felt like...
But it isn't, right?
No.
Well, no, it's stretched out.
It's bigger by volume, somehow.
No. It is smaller. It is way smaller. So, it's more stretched out, and the saucer to... Star Drive section is more flattened. It's basically if you remove the nacelle from the back of the main ship to the front is about the same length as the back of the main ship to the front of the D. So it's not really any longer. It's just it has those giant swept nacelles going back,
right,
which adds a lot to its length.
Yeah.
But it has less overall decks.
Well, it jettisons the families and ambassadorial quarters.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you don't need to separate, you could just ram the entire ship into.
Now that's a weird. Interesting that you mentioned that because it should separate really. Yeah. But it instead chooses ramming speed. So there you go.
But yeah, it should be able to separate. Although then the bottom looks like this dagger, which, kind of looks cool. But yeah, again, I like a lot of things about the E. It just felt strange that they shift to this kind of more purposeful ship, I guess is a good way of putting it. Where it's really built to do one thing with fighting the Borg, but it's just not nearly as massive as it's probably got like the same volume as like the C or something like that.
No, I don't think it's that small.
Yeah. I have to pull out my blueprints, whatever,
I mean, it's only got 23 decks versus again the Enterprise D's 42, but that's a lot of it is just compacted.
I just sent
Again,
you a
it's-
handy GIF that you guys can check on the chat.
Andy. GIF, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was saying. Is it's, but also remember that's only like the side view. So it's, I don't know. It's maybe like a third by volume smaller. You know what I mean? It's still a big ship. It's got the rotated saucer, but it's got less decks. I mean, main engineering, takes like 3 decks. Its biggest balancing point is just the really long nacelles.
Beautiful.
Oh, they are
really
beautiful.
long nacelles, yeah.
And it like looks really good when it's like coming straight at you. It photographs beautifully.
It's almost like it was designed to do that.
Interesting.
Unfortunately, we didn't get to know it very well. So,
No.
I mean, not like we did the D. We're very, very familiar with what the D is, but we didn't. I mean, what did we get? We got the bridge, engineering, and like
The bottomless pit.
the bottomless pit. Yep, where you throw Ron Perlman. And then that one.
The random, the secret garden.
Yeah. So we don't get a lot to go on, but it's a very pretty ship.
It was all under battle circumstances. You didn't necessarily get to walk around as it was, meant to look. Either Borg infested or under attack from the Sona or under attack from the Romulans, I mean, we got to have a little bit of, I mean, I don't know if I should call it 10 forward, but I'll call it 10 forward in Insurrection, so.
Yeah. But no, it's definitely got a cool design. I guess I felt like it was a bit of a step back from what the crew had with the Enterprise D. Like I would almost say make another. Well, I guess technologically wise,
it's the most
I don't know.
advanced starship in the fleet.
Yeah, I mean, you
but
can't
not
just keep
worthy to send for the Borg invasion, guys. Okay.
Well, maybe they trust the Enterprise, but they're not just so sure about her captain.
You can't just keep making ships bigger in perpetuity.
That's true.
So
I mean,
because
well,
that's
have
kind
you,
of what
have
they
you met
do
the
in Star
Enterprise
Trek
J?
Online. Yeah.
We're not going to talk about that, I don't think. So,
Yeah.
and less said
No,
about
that's
that.
true.
When we're doing this podcast in 25 years, we will.
But no, it's again, it's not. I love the Enterprise E. I think its design is really good. I just always felt like people always say it's bigger than the Enterprise D, and it's not.
It doesn't feel like it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's longer because it is. It's definitely longer, but by volume and just presence, it's not bigger than the Enterprise D. If the Enterprise D swooped in over it, it'd be like, oh dang, this giant ship.
Well, I don't think it's. That's the thing. I don't think that the size difference is so dramatic.
It's not. No. It's not like it's not like the Enterprise D flying over the Enterprise B.
Right.
That's not even a comparison. But
Yeah.
I always like that shot. It was like I don't know who made it, but all the Enterprises docked picture.
One of the books,
where they're-
encyclopedia or something.
Yeah, it's like one of the calendars or something, but they're all kind of like facing. It's supposedly like where they were all, decommissioned although half were destroyed, but
I will say that I think of all of Star Trek, probably up until Discovery, the Enterprise E is probably the best ship we got a good sense of scale on. We walked on the outside of it. We got to see a bunch of dramatic jumping from the ship moments. There's a lot of sort of scale building. Literally, they stood on the deflector dish. We know exactly how big it is compared to a person. So it did a really good job.
I would have liked to see them stand on the Enterprise D's deflector dish. That would have been like a Olympic-sized swimming pool. It's like, oh dear Lord. Yeah, no, I agree. I think we did get a good sense of scale in that regard for how big it is. But yeah, it just was. Hopefully we'll see more. I
was gonna say we may see
may-
it again.
may see it
I
again.
don't know,
It's a good
guys. We'll
chance.
see.
All right. Well, Daniel, if someone wanted to talk to you about Enterprise E angles, what are the best ones? Where would they find you?
Any angle that really gets you that good shot of the nacelles. But you can find me on Twitter at @OneUpDan. That's the number 1, not the word.
And Philip, if someone wanted to talk to you about the little runabout that could, where would they find you?
They can find my runabout poetry on Twitter at NCPublicServant.
And if someone wanted to talk to me about why all nacelles should pivot, they could find me on Twitter, Instagram under username Dr. Sci-Fi, DRSCIFI. I'm Darren Moser.
I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Daniel Prue.
Stranded here talking about starships on City Alpha 3.
Come!